Welcome. Tonight's program will dive deep into fringe knowledge of lost, hidden, and suppressed truths about the nature of our reality. The decoding process can be uncomfortable and at times frightening. However, you are not alone on this journey of understanding. Welcome to the Shadow Band Podcast.
What up? So apparently with that excuse me, with that new update, I can't adjust it to full screen the intro. So we were in the whole intro. So that's fun.
Oh, sweet. I had to run away, grab my iced coffee, take my green screen background down. So everybody got to see that. I wish this room wasn't so ugly that I'm in. I want to make it cool like yours. But
You know, there's only so much you could do with the green screen. Green screens are sick, right? Don't get me wrong. But
Yeah.
there is something about having like the actual depth of the
Yeah.
room, you know. It's hard to beat.
it is. I want to do something, but like this, I don't know. It's not going to happen here, I don't think.
Yeah, I've been thinking about setting up like a different situation. You watch Tim Dillon show?
Yeah.
You know how he's got like the camera facing straight on and he's sitting at like a big table
Yeah.
with the background. I'm thinking about trying to set something up like that. You
That's
know,
tough because you got to
Yeah.
have like space from the wall behind you. You can't just be right up against the wall.
yeah.
And then your camera has to be far. I've done it. It's tough though.
Well, this is the master bedroom of the house. We turned the master bedroom into the game room / podcast room. So it's a big room. Like what you see behind me is like just one corner. There's a whole other side of the room over here.
Nice.
You know,
Yeah, that would
'cause
work,
who
man.
needs to sleep in the big room? That's stupid.
Just for sleeping, dude.
You know what I mean? Plus, I got a bathroom in the game room, dude. I don't even have to like. I can just right there. Yeah, dude.
That's
So,
tight.
yeah, brother. So, what's new with you, Jew?
Just busy. Gotta do a little traveling here soon. Actually, I'm leaving tomorrow morning for Tennessee for a few days for business, and that's it, man.
Sick. You flying?
Nope.
Smart.
Nope.
Smart. You don't want none of those DEI pilots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. After the stuff we've talked about on this podcast, brother, I don't trust those flights.
Dude, I'm actually working on setting up a trip up to Gettysburg next year.
Oh, heck
to
yeah.
we're doing like doing the metal podcast up there. And we're gonna try to like do it on the field or at the field of Gettysburg, like in the middle of the night type
Oh, sick.
situation.
That's sick.
But they're like, "You flying, bro?" I was like, "Hell no! I'm gonna drive like 14 hours, dude, because I'd much rather just be in control."
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen these videos of people on flights and just people bugging out, dude.
Yeah,
Bugging out.
yeah, that's the world we live in now, bro.
I was the last flight I was on, just a few, maybe like a month, and this lady starts losing her mind, bro. Lady starts bugging out. First class, first seat on the plane. She's like growling at people and get me off this plane. Just going nuts, dude. Like, bro.
The atmospheric
She's
pressures will
way
mess
too
with
close to the cockpit for
Yeah.
comfort.
Well, that's the other thing too. Like, if I do fly anywhere, like I'm definitely paying extra to be in first class, so I'm up in the front, right? Because I'm not, I ain't no hero or nothing. But if Alibaba is gonna try to like run up there with the friggin' box cutter, like, not through me, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
going
bro.
down. It's
Oh
going
my
down.
gosh, dude. Speaking of Alibaba with the box cutter, I just saw the second installment of the freaking chair stuck of the 9/11 conspiracy thing with Tucker Carlson.
Oh, okay. I still haven't watched the first.
Bro, he's got receipts, bro. Like they knew they knew. NSA was talking about like tomorrow is 0 day. The match begins tomorrow. Like for real, they were like all over the stuff, bro.
Really?
Absolutely new. And then the 9/11 commission afterward, bro, completely rigged.
I mean, I believe it, dude. I haven't
All
watched
of the conflicts of interest. I mean,
I haven't
every
watched a good
conflict of interest
9/11
you can think of.
documentary in a long time. Is he crushing that? Do I need to take the time?
I mean, I don't know what people already know. It's not a topic I dive into a ton. I have my suspicions about it, and I don't really need. I've never felt the need to be like, actually, but it's like they're short. They're only like 34 minutes each episode. So it's like it's easy. I can just take a long dump and get a video in. So yeah, I mean they're pretty good. I mean stuff that I didn't know about, like they were like how the Bush picked Kissinger to be the head of the 9/11 commission, and then he picked another guy afterward. I can't remember what his name was, and he's just like all the conflicts of interest you can imagine, talking to campaign planners and stuff, and like Bush's agenda team about terrorism, and like should have never been talking to them. They have nothing to do with the investigation. All kinds of how underfunded it was. I think they raised like $3 million for it. When he said like the Monica Lewinsky investigation was 17 times more money.
I did see that clip. Yeah, I saw that clip where he's going off about the ratio. Yeah.
Nobody cares about. It's like, listen, the American people don't really care about the Twin Towers. They care about Bill Clinton getting sucked off in office. It's like,
yeah, dude. And you still got people that get triggered when you bring up 9/11, like conspiracies or whatever, because they're like, and I get it. Like, there's people who are like super patriotic, and I mean, look at me, I'm wearing a freaking American. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
there's people who get triggered and they think that you're like shaming, I don't know, the military or whatever. I don't know what they think, to be honest with you. But dude, and we're what, 24 years later.
I mean, there's a difference between saying like nobody died and like that the intelligence agencies knew it was going to happen. It's like I can understand people being offended by saying nobody died when the towers are blown up. Planes flew into them, or space lasers, or whatever.
Well, if you ask them more, the buildings weren't even there, right?
I mean, hey, look,
dude, really?
I all I'm saying is I can understand why people would be offended by some of those. If they really did have somebody die in the whatever tied to it, I totally see that. But just saying that the intelligence agencies knew it was going to happen or should have known it was going to happen, then like had some like ragtag group of people outmaneuver the Central Intelligence Agencies that were training the Bin Ladens, knew who these dudes were before they did anything, knew that they were in flight school, knew that they had visas coming into the United States. Everybody knew everything except the FBI. CIA kept that from the FBI. But like,
sorry, my cat is distracting me. She's trying to walk all over the laptop. It's pissing me off.
But anyway, yeah, it's pretty good. I was like, dang, man. I mean, I don't know what the end game or like what the end of the reveal is going to be like inside job. It was used obviously it was used to go start a war with a country that didn't even do anything.
I like Tucker, but I don't think that he's gonna break it all the way down, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I
Right.
don't
I,
think
I
so either.
think there's something going on right now. I've noticed this like with Candace Owens and the whole Charlie Kirk thing, right? It's like
She took the
there's
freaking breaks, dude.
yeah, for sure. And I don't want to like shit all over her or Tucker Carlson or whatever, but I've always said, man, you don't get to that level without being influenced on some level, right? Whether you're open about it or not. Um, so I just don't think that. Basically, what I'm getting at is there's a movement, and it might be some kind of psyop where you have these. It's mostly like right wing um, content creators, uh, you know, free thinkers, if you will, that are like starting to ask the conspiratorial questions about things, right? And I think that that's a trap, kind of like how Trump was a trap for free thinkers and conspiracy minded people, if that makes sense. So, like, I think that it's kind of making us let our guard down in a way. Oh, don't worry, like there's people like Tucker and Candace out there, like they're asking those questions. They're asking the hard questions. Like they're gonna investigate it and get to the bottom of it. And it's kind of like making some people let their guard down on it. But I just think that maybe that's on purpose. It's just to make you think we're getting somewhere, right? Like, look, Tucker's talking about 9/11 and he's questioning the narrative. Dude, we're making progress. And it's like, yeah, but he's not going to
We've
quite
got the Epstein list.
right. Yeah, he's not going to go there, if that makes sense.
I legit thought that while I was watching it. I'm like, this is going to maybe hit like level 2 of the conspiracy levels
Right.
of this, right? I don't think he's touching Tower 6. I don't think he's touching Tower 7.
Right.
Like Tower 6 was completely demolished and there's a giant black pit in the middle of it.
Yeah. And building 7 too. I mean, like,
Building 7 wasn't even just went down.
right.
You know what I mean? So, I don't think he's going to get into that. He's going to stick with the government intel agency because that's like his shtick.
Right.
It's like the establishment is keeping secrets, and that's about it. I don't really think it's going to get any deeper than that. I mean, it could be wrong. I don't know, but we also have to like give people some grace with getting into the conspiracy realm. Like Christians do this all the time when like a celebrity comes out as like I'm a Christian now, and they'll be like, well, what about all this? Like, dude, they just started down the path. Like, relax. It takes time. So like, with Tucker and Candace and some of these other folks are like getting into, you got to ease them in. They're not ready for Kandahar Giants yet. They're not ready for inverted hollow donut Earth. Like, they're not ready for that. They'll get there.
That's true. I mean, I feel that too, right? Like you said,
They
you
have
gotta
such a
give
big
them
platform, though. You're right that people will just defer thinking to them.
for sure. And I don't know that they'll ever go far enough down the rabbit hole. And there's a limit too, right? Like you can go too far down the rabbit hole, in my opinion, on some of these things.
Yeah.
And then you discredit yourself, or you just turn a lot of people off from listening. I mean, I'm guilty of that, right? I'll go so deep sometimes that people are like, turn this guy off. I mean, I see the comments sometimes, like on the podcasts or like on the YouTubes, and it's like, this guy's a freaking idiot, bro. Like, and I'm like, you know what? You might be right, dude. I am, but
That's the whole point, though. Is we're just spitballing.
yeah,
We're connecting dots, and if maybe the dots aren't 100%, like we're trying. We're I'm not coming out here and making an official swearing on the Bible statement about anything.
right. Yeah, the only people who are like taking what we say as like news is the Ugandans. So shout out to Uganda. But outside of that, dude, like
Outside, maybe a little bit New Zealand, but outside of that,
yeah, we were crushing New Zealand, dude.
so, but yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, anybody that's kind of also getting into the game, but there's different levels for everybody. Some people are like Moonlight. I don't really know anymore, and that's it. And then other people are going to go, moon landing's fake, space isn't real. And then other people are going to be like, moon landing's fake, space isn't real, birds aren't real. And then there's just levels. So some people just choose to stop at a certain spot, and they're like, it's just fine. We can't judge these people, guys. Just because everybody doesn't want to dive in as deep as you do or wants to go way further than you, we got to stop it all. We're going to listen and not judge.
For sure.
You
Yeah.
know what
I
I
mean,
mean?
it's like we always talk about. There's those layers, right? You know,
Yeah.
you got your
And
base
sometimes they're just
layer.
not interesting to people.
Yeah, you got base layer, then layer two is like, oh, the government, the intel, you know, the banking, and then level three is like, okay, there's like some kind of spiritual warfare going on, you know, the entities or what you get the next, you know, so there are like these different layers, and
Yeah.
you know, it does kind of, you got to be a certain type of autistic to go like layer four, layer five on some of these things for sure. So
Yeah. I mean, like, unless you're infiltrating these things and exposing them, I mean, like, you got no place to like tell anybody where, like, to call anybody out on anything. If you're
yeah,
just Googling stuff like everybody else, they're just going to Google stuff that's interesting to them, and you're Googling stuff that's interesting to you. But like, unless you're infiltrating NASA, we should just be chilling. Everybody's
for
chilling.
sure.
We're just having conversations, right? If you're going to infiltrate the Illuminati or infiltrate the Masons or whatever.
Speaking of NASA, here's an interesting thing, and I haven't looked this up, so I'm taking Jeremy's
We're
word for
spitballing.
this. Yeah, I'm taking Jeremy's word for this, but you know that Three Eye Atlas, that object, that interstellar object that's apparently coming in and whatever, coming in hot.
Yeah.
He was saying the other night, what did he say that it like made an odd turn and now its trajectory is like more towards Earth, and that it's bigger than the moon.
What?
Yeah. Again, I haven't verified this. I'm just going off of what you told me on the
It took a
podcast the other night.
weird turn and it's bigger than the moon.
And it's bigger than the moon, and it's like actually coming towards Earth now. But what's interesting, speaking of NASA, you know, there's a
No way.
government shutdown right now.
Yeah.
I saw a thing today. It said, you know, Kennedy Space Center and NASA are pretty much on hold right now. Like, which is obviously right.
Where's the $160 million a day going to go?
$65 million a day.
Where's the $65 million a day going to go? We're going to save so much money for a couple of days.
Right. Well, it's just interesting to me that like apparently you've got this object hurtling towards or roughly towards Earth through space, and they just happen to have a government shutdown, and the space agencies are just take a break, take a day off, bro. So I don't know. Me and Jeremy were talking about it the other night, man. Like I think that this thing could be the Project Bluebeam event, right? Not aliens, but like external extraterrestrial threat, just being this object coming in hot.
Yeah. I mean, bigger than the moon?
That's what he said. Let me, you know what? Let me
Let's get the producer on it.
produce.
Produce.
Look up Three Eye Atlas. I want to know what the newest information is on Three Eye Atlas. The AI information is giving me old information. The AI results are
Can't trust it. Can't trust that.
Does say it's much larger than previous.
Oh, dude.
much larger than previously thought. Okay, see, something's there.
This was from yesterday.
Yikes.
Just saying, bro. What is this comment? Who's writing a novel in my comments here? In my opinion, there's an entry point for everyone, either the financial crisis, national debt, COVID scam, Epstein, etc. There's usually some way to convince anyone that we're being lied to about everything. Yeah, you're totally right, man. I mean, like, you know, not everybody had the luxury of waking up like shortly after the 9/11 situation, right? Like, but you're right. Every big event that happens, you know, you have a subset of the population that finds the holes in the narrative, and like that's the thing that wakes them up, whether it's COVID or Epstein or 9/11 or whatever, right? The banking. So you're right, you know, and I'm not again, I'm not trying to shit on Tucker Carlson or Candace Owens. You know, I think the fact that they're asking questions, remember, question everything. That's our motto around here. I think the fact that they're doing that is good. I just don't think that those big talking head types are going to go deep enough down the rabbit hole to find any real truth of what's going on, right? They're just almost in a way like fomenting more questioning, which is one of the intel agency tactics, which is just to flood the information out there so that you don't know what's true anymore, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't say anything about it
Yeah.
being
I mean,
necessarily bigger than the moon, but it says it's bigger than 33 billion tons, with the nucleus, like the center, being larger than 3.1 miles. So it is logical that it's probably if the
The
center,
nucleus
the nucleus
is 3.1 miles.
miles. So you can
Holy,
imagine
holy dude, your volume is
the
like
rest of it.
My
It
volume's
loud
essentially
right now.
says it's hurtling
It's
towards the
just
sun, not Earth. It says it poses no danger to Earth as of a day ago. It will remain at least 150 million miles away.
Oh, okay, we're good. Sorry, yeah, the volume probably spiked because it was probably trying to pick her up from over there, and then it when I said something. So sorry if I blew your eardrums out. I got another mic here. I just don't have a way to make it work because I'm a dum dum.
Well, yeah, there's a. I mean, everybody knew. I mean, not everybody, but there's a large group of those end times folks that There's a passage about two objects that will collide with Earth at some point. One called wormwood. It's going to go into one of the seas, and it will contaminate, make it undrinkable. And then there's another one that's supposedly bigger. So the first one's wormwood, and the second one is not named, but it says it's like a mountain on fire. So don't know what that is, but it's cast into the waters, and a third of the waters become like poisoned or something like that. So eventually something's going to hit. I think Apophis is due to cross around us, whatever it's called, Apophis, in like 2040 something.
Yeah,
So
I think by then, like, we're gonna be living in a totally different world, man. I've been harping on this 2030 thing so hard lately.
Yeah.
I really think that the next 5 years are gonna be insane. We're probably not gonna recognize society in 5 years.
Now, so one of the things that is coming out, I mean, I don't know this crap as well as I should, but let me share something here on Palantir.
Oh, here we go.
And their Hyperledger banking. Hold on.
Yeah, there's some crypto shit, bro. Hit me with it, man. I'm a crypto bro. Let's do it. I was trading meme stocks.
There's two on the crypto. Yeah, let's check this one out. I don't know if you're gonna be able to hear it, but I'll kind of narrate if you can't hear it.
Maintaining a dossier of your travel habits, your health records, what bedroom you sleep, what rooms you occupy in your home, what is your activities of daily living, what music do you like, who is registered in your cell phone directory, who is registered in your email directory, what browser searches do you follow, what is your driving record, what is your DNA. You'll have a DNA dossier. Your DNA will become your molecular MAC address.
So he's saying that you're going to have like a digital ID that's going to become your molecular MAC address.
Your media access control for neuromodulation to tether you to the cloud. They're going to
have neuromodulation to tether you to the cloud.
The whole file for under precision medicine for your DNA. And your DNA is essentially your tag for a dairy cow on the air is your DNA. Palantir will have a copy of your molecular MAC address, and your income tax filing, your bank statements, your mortgage information, all of that's going to be zeroed out by the year 2030. You may have $100 million in brokerage account. It will be turned into zero, and you'll be getting.
You said you could have $100 million in your bank account. It's going to be zero in 2030. They're going to reset everything.
In a social
sorry,
and our entire money system will be flipped.
Good.
Bro, this is exactly what I've been talking about, like every other episode for like 5 years, bro. That look, we all know that the digital stuff is being tracked and is being thrown in databases, right? Like your taxes and who you communicate with and what you look up and all that. We understand that. Everybody knows that. That's not news. The DNA tracking, the molecular tracking, or whatever phrase he used there, that's the thing that people aren't grasping yet, right? And I've been saying this for like 5, 6, 7 years. Since like episode 1, I've been talking about this, bro. Like,
bro, you have.
And now you got dudes coming out, like it's starting to become like, I mean, who's he talking to? He's on a video call, and I'm assuming it's with some other high-level executives or government officials. Like this isn't like a video.
Know. That's the one thing I thought was kind of sus on this, is like, that's obviously a video background. He's not sitting in front of a wall like that, I don't think. And whoever's watching him, or maybe that's his handle, juxtaposition 1. I mean, I don't know what that is. I don't know who this guy is. So if anybody in the comments knows who the homie is, then, I mean, obviously let me know so we can do a little background on here. But this goes back to like the first thing or the last thing we were just talking about, where like people are asking questions and little videos and stuff are coming out. It's like there's things that people just aren't aware of. Like back to Tucker, he just had a video come out a couple days ago with the founder or like the creator of Wikipedia. And it's like there's so much about Wikipedia that I had no idea about. Like all of like 25 or something are only 14% of the people that control it are not anonymous. Everybody's anonymous. So they have rules against being bribed to like put information up. Like you cannot pay to have your information put up. Otherwise you have to declare that you were paid, but you're anonymous. So it doesn't, there's no way to enforce that rule.
Yeah.
Zero of the decision makers are known. Everybody's anonymous. There's like a bunch of stuff about it that I just had no idea. And it's like, I would never know unless they didn't put stuff like that out there. Same with like this guy. Like no one would ever know this stuff. They're just gonna unleash it on you with no notice and no obligation to notify you. I'm like, hey guys, we're working on this digital tag thing, blah, blah, blah. They just had a summit in the UK and they're basically saying like, you're going to get a digital ID and that's going to be our way of combating illegal immigration. If you don't have your digital ID with you, you cannot buy, you cannot sell, you cannot anything, which is like verbatim out of Revelation of like the mark of the beast. They can neither buy nor sell nor trade. It's like, bro, nobody's watching this summit. Somebody had to clip it and put it, like some conspiracy guy had to go and clip it and put it on Instagram for everybody to see. Otherwise, nobody's watching this stuff. There's no PSAs going out about this.
Right. Exactly. That's what I was just trying to say, right? Like this wasn't like blasted for the public to see. This was, relatively a closed door meeting, like you said, a summit of some kind, right? Like they do in Davos or something. But dude, I've been saying this for the longest time, bro, because it's not even that I'm smart or like, I can see the future or anything. Like, no, they just been talking about this and people have been doing this thing where they're clipping it. We've done some of the digging like in real time before when I was talking about the digital IDs and like how that connects to Bill Gates and the Gates Foundation, like, so it's all the information that's out there, right? And I get it, like everybody's got shit to do, so you don't want to take the time and go research and learn about this stuff. You got better stuff to do with your time. I get it, right? But it's coming, and everybody kind of shits on the Patriot Act because it's like warrantless searches on all your information, right? Because in the guise of national security and all that, like they can literally just pull your digital information, or they can backdoor into Apple or Google or whatever and like figure out what's going on your devices and stuff, like, and people are uncomfortable with that, even though it's just become a normal part of life, right? But it's going to get worse because, like he said in that video, they're going to start tracking your molecular data. They're going to track how much of something you're consuming. Are you healthy or not? You're going to go to get health insurance, and they're going to be able to pull up the Palantir database, the Hyperledger database, and they're going to be able to see, oh, like, dude, you eat a lot of sugar. You don't, take care of yourself. Like I vape, right? They can be like, oh, we can see that you're vaping, not just from your purchases, but we can tell by your molecular makeup. But here's the thing. How are they getting that information? How are they able to know what you're consuming and what your biology is at any given time to put that in a database? Oh, good question, Jeff. It's the smart devices. Everything that's a smart device. That's like a blanket term for these, globalist people. They, when you have your smart TV, your smart watch, your Fitbits, your coffee maker is smart, your fridge is smart, everything is smart now. All of that stuff is collecting your data. Not only that, but they can map in real time, three-dimensionally through the walls using your Wi-Fi, right? Using millimeter wave 5G. They can map everything, X-ray vision type stuff. So they're getting all of the information. They're literally going to be watching you like that movie Eagle Eye with Shia LaBeouf, right? That Eagle Eye AI system that was literally just like watching and tracking everything. Remember that? That's real.
Yeah, it's no wonder a quantum computer and, you know, Palantir's super hyper surveillance and like pre-crime stuff is all popping up out of nowhere, or not out of nowhere, but all at the same time. I'd mentioned this on a previous episode, like maybe a few months ago. People are, you know, in the comments of these you know, clips and videos are like, buy land, get a weapon, be self-sufficient. That's not going. You're not going to be able to escape this. At a certain point, you're going to have to interact with someone else. At some point, you're going to have to buy something. So even if you barter goods with someone else, there's going to be biometric data on you, and it's going to go, well, he should be dead by now. How is he living?
Yep.
His digestive markers are going up. He just took in protein. How's that possible? Where'd he get that from? Find him.
Yep. Unless you're like, and I'm not just saying off grid, unless you're like homeless type off grid, like you just like leave everything right now, and
Yeah,
just
you're
like
up in Nova Scotia
walk out.
somewhere.
You just walk up into the freaking Arctic and just from nothing. Like maybe you'll escape this,
Maybe
for a while. But
you got to go to, and look, dude, this is like, again, they're so far ahead. They're mapped. I mean, these guys master plan, game plan, all this stuff out. There's so many billionaires setting up things in Africa right now. These billion-trillion-dollar companies setting up things in Africa. That would be the only place to escape because there's nothing there. The only place you could ever actually get out to and be like, maybe I can survive this by just getting out to some remote place in Africa. But they're already making sure that there's, where did Elon Musk go and put his space
Starlink.
Wi-Fi first?
Yep. All the
Africa.
rural areas. They prioritized rural areas for Starlink. And there's other satellites up there too. Bill Gates is putting up satellites, right? And
Of
those
course he is.
satellites are specifically going to be used for like surveillance, like tied in with Palantir and all that stuff too. So yeah, even if you're living in the plains of Zimbabwe somewhere, like they're going to be able to still get your ass. It's literally, we're screwed at this point, to be honest with you. You know what's interesting, man? You know the preventative policing or predictive policing that we were talking about with Palantir and all that. You know what that program's called? You know the name of that program?
No.
Gotham.
So who's
Gotham.
Batman? Like, who's Batman?
I'm just saying, dude, like they do this thing, bro. You know what's funny too? I was watching Home Improvement the other night.
good
You know,
shot.
I needed some mindless television before I passed out, right? Yeah, exactly. So I'm watching Home Improvement, and there's a scene. Tim Allen, his kids are watching a show in the living room, and he comes out the room or whatever, and the kids are like, "Oh, we're watching the show," and he's like, "Oh," and then he said something, or the kid said, "Oh, they just vaporized the building," right? And I was like, okay. And then the next scene, Tim Allen's in his garage in his workshop, and the camera is looking at him over here, and you can see stuff in the background and in the foreground of the garage. There's a big giant blue container that says jet fuel on it. In the scene following the scene where they were watching something on TV and they said they vaporized the buildings. Now, maybe I'm just a conspiracy theorist, but I'm telling you right now, dude, they've been planning these little things. They've been, subconsciously like seeding you and predictive programming your ass since like a long time ago, bro. Home Improvement is not a new show.
Yeah, that's pre-9. I mean, obviously pre 9/11.
Oh yeah, that's in like the 90s, bro.
Wow.
Yep. So coincidence, perhaps. I don't know, but when you have the eyes to see it, you see it.
Yeah, and it's just like, why? You know what I mean? It's like, this is pre-conspiracy. This is pre-it happening. Those are two fundamental components of that conspiracy theory: is the buildings being vaporized somehow and jet fuel melting steel beams. This is what I'm saying, bro. It's like, yes, asking the questions is the first step. And there's a lot of steps after that, man.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of steps after that.
It actually ruined the episode for me because the whole rest of the
Just couldn't
episode, I was like looking in the back, like I wasn't even paying attention to what the plot was. I was like looking through the background. I was like, oh, let me find something else. Like, let me just see, a picture of the Twin Towers on the fridge or something. Like, I was just waiting for that moment, but then I passed out, so I didn't get through it all. But yeah, even a wholesome family show like Home Improvement has little subliminal nods and winks to some of this stuff, which is just, I mean, it's not surprising, but it's crazy.
Yeah, but it's like what put that in the zeitgeist at that point? Like that's,
They, like I said, man,
it's like
they're planning all of these things all the time, right? Like this is what I say about like the prophecies coming true, right? Like they create the prophecies and then they just slowly chip away at the things that need to happen in order to make those prophecies come true. And as they're doing it, they're putting out little hints and little seeds and little stuff because they have to tell you what they're doing to escape the karmic cycle. That's their belief, not mine, but they feel like they have to inform the public of the things that they're doing before they do it, which is why they're telling us that they're about to track your molecular data. This is why they tell us that they're prepping for a great reset, all this stuff, right? So, and another thing that's interesting about that Hyperledger, right? Oh, go ahead.
what you were just saying about they tell you for the karmic thing. I wonder, because I always wondered, like, why do they do these like secret like grand juries and these like backdoor congressional hearings and all this kind of stuff that's like they'll disclose some stuff. Like, what's the point? What's the point of like writing all the stuff down? Like, why would they do that? And it's just like, oh, that just kind of makes sense. That's an answer. It's an answer.
Because they have to, like, they, like you said, if they're going to do like some secret meeting about how they're going to like depopulate the world, like, why would you write that down? That's stupid, right?
Yeah.
Because they know that somebody will leak it or they'll leak it themselves or just a snippet will get out. And that's their way of informing us. And then we're all basically like, what's the word? We're like consenting in a way because we're not like doing anything about it, right? Like we all know that the financial system is about to collapse. We all know the dollar's a scam. We all know that we're getting robbed, via taxes and inflation and all this stuff. And what do? Nothing. We just wake up and go to work the next day. So it's like a form of consent. It's weird. And that's how they get out of their,
Yeah. Dude, I saw some brutal videos of like the stuff going on in Nepal. They're just like bashing dudes' heads in till they're just mush. Just crazy stuff over there. Just them killing their politicians and stuff. And I'm like, don't want that. But how else do you change things at this point?
But then you have to question, like, because the CIA has a long history and a bad habit of going into places, especially in third world countries, linking up with, resistance fighters and things like that, or even just you creating the resistance and then fomenting the stuff, and then boom, next thing you know, like Gaddafi's head's getting chopped off, right? And it's like that wasn't a natural, like the people didn't just wake up and say we've had enough and like did something about it. No. Like intel agencies and agents and this type of thing, they went in there and like pushed it. January 6th, there's 257 plainclothed agents at January 6th. You think that the people just stormed the Capitol like all on their own? They had the idea. No. There was 257 plainclothed agents. And then when they got the dudes, I think it was the Governor Whitmer kidnapping case, if I'm not mistaken, and there was like 15 people that were involved, and 12 or 13 of them ended up being FBI informants.
Yeah.
Oops.
Listen, that is a baseless conspiracy theory that you just espoused right there. Kash Patel said this week that none of the agents that were there had anything to do with inciting people to go into the Capitol building.
There's a video of a dude at January 6th, okay? breaking a window. He's pulling the panes of glass off the window. And somebody turns their phone camera and looks at him. And when the dude, you can see it when he's got all masked up and everything, but he looks over and he sees the camera and immediately just looks back, finds somebody else that's right there in the crowd and starts pushing that dude and saying, "Why'd you do that? Why did you do that?" That's an agent.
Well, guess who else is an agent? Kash Patel.
Yep.
And telling the truth, brother. I don't believe a single thing that comes out of his lying mouth.
I don't either. And that's in a whole other psyop too, man. The way that he like pushes back at these congressional hearings and stuff, and like those clips are awesome, right? He's like firing back. He's like, you're a terrible politician, like you're corrupt, you know. Like I've watched him, and I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, Kash, like tell him. But then in the back of my mind, I'm like, but so are you, dude. Like, you know. But it's just a psyop to again let everybody let their guard down. Don't worry about it. We got the good guys. We got the white hats in there now. They're doing the thing, right? Like, don't worry about it. But anyways, what's interesting about the Hyperledger thing with Palantir, you know, because people have been saying this for a long time, and people say it to me all the time when I talk about Bitcoin. They're like, oh, the CIA built Bitcoin, right? Or the NSA built Bitcoin. It's just a, you know, trap for you to get in there. This is a way for me to kind of prove that that's not the case, because with the Hyperledger, they're using blockchain technology. Okay, I looked it up while we were watching the thing. So they're using blockchain technology, right? Cryptographic blockchain technology. Bitcoin was the first cryptographic blockchain technology or protocol. If they wanted to build this and do this, they would have done it with the first. But I think that whoever Satoshi Nakamoto was, or a group of people that Satoshi Nakamoto was, the people who invented Bitcoin, they were the ones that discovered this technology and invented it, and the government is behind the curve on this one. They're catching up now, and they're using that technology that was already invented to create things like Hyperledger, right? So if the CIA and NSA built Bitcoin in order to trap us all, then they would have no need to build Hyperledger. They could just do it on Bitcoin, but they don't, because they can't, because they didn't, right? So.
Well, okay, so that goes into the other video that I had that I didn't watch the whole thing on. Let me pull it up because it has to do with them creating like a backdoor to cryptos through stablecoin. Where's my share at? And you're gonna know way more about this than me. I literally did not watch the whole video.
Yeah, while you pull that up, I'm gonna read this comment. It's very similar to, in my opinion, a form of black magic. Crowley taught lesser magic, which was the same idea, just now on a global level. Yeah, and what's interesting is that Aleister Crowley's Thelema, his little cult or religion or whatever you want to call it, the Thelemic, you know, whatever. A lot of the people who built the infrastructure for the systems that we use right now, like I always bring NASA up because that one's just interesting to me. But a lot of them were Thelemic. They were in his little Thelemic society, like Jack Parsons, right? Then you had like weirdos like L. Ron Hubbard and all these people, you know. So the stuff that Aleister Crowley was into and teaching, a lot of people who built like MK Ultra and the CIA stuff and all that creepy shit, like they were into that. So that's why you see it now like almost normalized in the public, is because that's exactly what it is. It's not like it is it.
Let me pull this up here. There we go. And show this.
The shadow government just created a loophole to clone your money with cryptocurrency, and I'm about to expose it. The Genius Act that just got passed into law allows banks to create stablecoins, effectively duplicating your money.
So this guy's saying that the banks are able to duplicate your money using stablecoin from some crap that just passed. Is this what he's saying? The Genius Act. Okay, I'm just going to read this because it's going to be better than watching a video on mute.
If a bank issues you a stablecoin,
is it the cloning your money? The Genius Act just gave banks the power to duplicate every dollar you deposit. You hand them $1,000, they put it in treasuries for yield, then hand you back a synthetic $1,000 as stable coin. One deposit, two streams of power. Adoption is exploding. 9 European banks are uniting for a euro stablecoin. France is launching its own. The US issued one to fund education. Ripple is cutting deals with BlackRock, obviously. Even China is moving in. The fastest stablecoin expansion ever, and the stakes keep rising. The CFTC wants stablecoins used as collateral in 12 trillion derivatives market. Tether is raising 15 to 20 billion and already ranks among the top 15 holders of U.S. Treasuries. PayPal is weaving stablecoins into decentralized markets while Circle experiments with reversing transactions. The goal is to control and profit. But here's the real play. As banks funnel billions into U.S. debt, the overflow is fueling crypto like never before. The system is being hacked from the inside, and those who position themselves early will ride the wave. Money is being duplicated. Rules are shifting. Crypto wins.
Yep, this is exactly what I talked about. I don't know if it was last week when we talked, or it might have been the week before that. I went on a rant about Tether and the stable coins. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
This is exactly what I was talking about. So, and he's right. What they're doing is they passed the Genius Act, which allowed them to create this stable coin and push it out to all these third world countries and all this other shit. They know that the fiat system, the dollar, is collapsing, right? Everybody's seen the chart where, 100 years ago, the value of a dollar was $1, and that, today it's worth like whatever 6 cents on that same dollar that it was 100 years ago, whatever the case is. They know that it's going to zero. The only way to prop it up for a little bit longer is to start pushing the dollar out to other countries, third world countries in particular, that don't have access to the U.S. markets, right? If you live in Zimbabwe, you can't get an American bank and transact in American dollars, right? Well, how do you solve that? You create a digital version of the dollar and you export that to Zimbabwe because everybody has access to the internet, right? So now they have access to the US banking and all that shit. This is exactly what they're doing. And this is what I was saying where Tether was buying up all the treasury bonds, right?
Okay. All right.
Yep,
Yeah.
it used to be that like other countries would buy the US debt, right? Like there was this thing, I forget what it was called. What was it called? They had a meeting. Fuck. Anyways, doesn't matter. It was like a long time ago. It was like 80 years ago, 100 years ago, whatever it was. I think it was like 80 years ago. They did this meeting and they basically, it was after World War II or World War I even. And all of Europe was destroyed and the rest of the world was in shambles, and the US was like the only place that was like manufacturing and like was good, right? So in order to help build back the world, right? Build back better. In order to build back the world, they made this deal. I wish I could remember it. It starts with a B. I just can't think of the word. They made a deal where
I've heard of this.
Yeah, they made a deal where basically other countries would make stuff and send it to us, and in return we would send them our money, right? And that worked for a little while to get all the other countries back up on their feet, right? Because the US dollar was the global reserve currency, right? So that worked out. But now all these other countries are built up and they're manufacturing and they're doing all the things. They don't need that transaction with us anymore as much, right? Yes, we still consume and we buy a lot of stuff, like people are exporting to us, but like it's not like as detrimental as it was after the world wars. So that's why you have these BRICS nations like contemplating how to get off of this US money system, right? So they know that the dollar is about to collapse, right? So they had to do this stable coin thing. Trump signed an executive order saying there would be no CBDCs, no central bank digital currencies in the United States. And everybody was like, yay, go Trump, right? But now they passed the Genius Act. So it's essentially a CBDC. They just don't call it a CBDC, right? And it's just propping up this dollar for a little bit longer. And what he said by people who are front running this, who know what's coming and are front running this, are going to ride the wave. This is what I've been talking about with Bitcoin for like a year now, right? Because there's only one thing in the universe, brother. I want you to really think about this. Everybody listening, I want you to really think about this. Name something in the universe that you can't make more of or find more of. Go.
I would have said diamonds, but they make lab diamonds.
Yeah, they make lab diamonds. They could probably find them on some asteroid or someplace. Same with gold, right? Like, sure, there's a limited amount of gold that's mined and refined every year, but that's only because the cost, right? There's so much gold in the earth. It's just not cost effective to go mining it all. It's expensive to mine gold. But as the value of gold goes up, which it's going up right now, it's at an all-time high. As the value of gold goes up, it'll be more profitable to go dig more out of the ground. So even gold and diamonds, like, they're not a finite asset, right? You can get more, you can produce more. Dollars, obviously, you can just print dollars out of thin air. Pretty much anything you can think of in the universe, you could theoretically get more of or make more of. There's only one thing that you cannot ever make or get more of, and that's Bitcoin. It's in the protocol, it's in the code, it's a decentralized protocol. Nobody has the power to change it. No government, no official, nobody can change the protocol of Bitcoin to make it more than 21 million Bitcoins. That's all that will ever exist from now until the end of time. 21 million Bitcoin. Period. End of story. Okay. So it's literally the rarest asset in the universe that nobody knows what it is. Nobody could explain how the protocol works. Right? Well, people can, but general public, nobody understands Bitcoin. They just think it's some crypto bro thing. Right. But what he was saying is, if you know this stuff and you're front running it, aka stacking sats and buying Bitcoin, you will ride this wave, because as the dollar goes down, hard assets value goes up because you need more dollars to get the asset. Same with real estate, gold, Bitcoin, etc. Right? So if you are holding a hard asset, and the thing about real estate is they can make more real estate. Can't make more land necessarily, but you kind of can.
Go tell that to China.
They're
just making islands out of nowhere.
Right. Dubai's making islands, so they can make more land, but they can always build higher and lower into the ground for more real estate. So even though the illusion of that being like a hard asset that you could put your money into and hold on to for 1,000 years and it'll just always go up, that's an illusion. There's only one thing that'll ever be, and that's Bitcoin. And that's why I'm putting all of my extra cash into Bitcoin for like the last year, because I understand this. And when I saw them talking about the stable coins and the Genius Act, I was like, yep, here it is, man. Just like what we were talking about with the molecular tracking and the DNA tracking and shit. Like, this is one of those things where, like, enough time has gone into it for myself. Like, I've spent enough time researching and trying to understand this whole thing that certain things just clicked, and it was like, oh shit. And I'm 100% in that, just like I'm 100% certain that they're doing the molecular tracking. You see what I'm saying?
Well, what is frightening about the situation is, like, there has to be a play at the top to keep the folks at the top at the top. So this whole, like, Agenda 2030 and everybody's going to get nuked back down to zero. Regular people are going to get nuked back down to zero.
Yep.
There might even be, and I'm sure, I mean, I have a pessimistic view of I want to believe that Bitcoin is the answer. But even that is like, if you had a significant wallet and they needed to, or, enough naysayers and resistors had a significant wallet and Bitcoin there has to be a way to just be like, it's illegal to own Bitcoin.
Yeah, they could totally pass a law banning Bitcoin, but the thing is there's nothing that they can do to enforce that, because it's
exactly, because
it's decentralized protocol, right? It's not like
control over it itself.
Right. There's nodes, right? I could fire up a node right now and run a node, and there's millions of people around the world who are running these nodes. Yeah. And because of that, Bitcoin miners and nodes are the two things that hold the security in the network, and just regular schmucks hold the nodes. So they'd have to go house to house and shut down every single person's node and every Bitcoin miner in order to break the network. So the only thing really that could shut down Bitcoin would be like a catastrophic event, But if that happens, Bitcoin's the last of your worries. And I'm talking like solar flare knocks out the grid,
Yeah.
you know, like
You're
there's
back
bigger
to hard
problems.
assets.
Yeah, you're back to like foraging and hunting and gathering, right? So if that happens, sure, yeah, okay. But outside of that, there's no centralized entities that control Bitcoin. I mean, there was literally a thing called the block size war back in 2013. As Bitcoin was starting to grow and pick up traction, there was a certain segment of Bitcoiners that wanted to change the block size, and that's a whole thing. I won't get into the details of it, but they wanted to change the protocol, right? And they couldn't, even though there was millions of them that wanted the protocol to change. There were more people who said no, the protocol is perfect the way it is, and it's a true democratic thing, if you will, right? Like there had to be, call it a vote on making this thing change, and more people said no, we're not changing, than people who wanted to change. So they created a fork off of Bitcoin, and they created another crypto, and that crypto failed. And the Bitcoin protocol that we know now is the original Bitcoin protocol. Never changed. It's never been hacked, right? Sure, they could pass a law or whatever, but the thing is like for me, for instance, my Bitcoin is not on the internet. It's in cold storage, right? And there's a long multi-word passcode. You either a 12 or a 24-word password in order to access that, right? And be able to put that back on the internet and be able to trade with it, sell it, whatever you want to do, okay? It's not that hard to remember 12 or 24 words, right? How many of you know every word to a song? That's more than 12 or 24 words. Exactly. Okay. So I could literally just strip naked and I could cross the border with nothing. And when I get there, I could log into the network and I could get my assets. Right. So there's no way that they have any control over this thing, even if they ban it. China tried banning it. And what happened? The price went up because it just kind of proved the point that like
it just got more rare.
The governments don't want this thing. This is why Biden's admin was doing Choke Point 2.0, which was like a war against Bitcoin and crypto, because they were like, we can't have this. This is a threat to our power and our systems, right? So they were literally like warring against it the whole time, and the price kept going up. Now Trump came in and he was like, oh, we're going to do a strategic Bitcoin reserve. We're ending Choke Point 2.0, all this stuff. And the price like skyrocketed when that happened. So they can maybe slow it down. There's ways that you could kind of manipulate the numbers here and there, right? Like, but you can't stop it, right? There's a saying in Bitcoin, nothing stops this train. And that's true, right? There's no way to stop it unless the fucking grids just go out. And then we're all dead anyways, so.
So there's one more thing that I wanted to pop up here, and this was just to illustrate the difference in those people that are at the top and who are positioned particularly well as we get into this reset here in a few years. So this is like a little graph. I need to start sharing these things on the Facebook so everybody can see it. But can I not skip this because it's not on mobile? I don't even know if it's playing.
Construction workers, engineers, doctors.
Well, hold on. We're just going to hang out here for a minute. Basically, this is like a graph. This guy is taking the general population, and this is just of the U.S. This is not global. He's just breaking this down into easy to digest numbers. He's talking about the general population, and then we take all of the money and let's just shrink it down to a manageable, like graphable number, and then disperse this across the population 100% evenly. This would be the socialists' idea. Everybody just gets the same amount of money. Impossible unless they did some sort of great reset and went straight digital, and completely did away with or outlawed Bitcoin in some way. So then he's showing like what everybody would have, according to the survey, the ideal spread of wealth would be, where like the poor, they got a little bit, middle class is nice and chunky, there's an upper middle class which is real chunky, and then just gradually get up to the top 1% of people have maybe 20-30% more than the next tier under them. So a nice even spread about things. And then he gets into the what people think it is. If so, they said, this is the ideal situation. Now, what do you think it is? And so they are freaking dirt poor. The middle class is kind of gutted. The upper middle class is doing really nice. And then like the real rich are really rich. But he's saying that even this is like close to the ideal. It's a little disproportionate in the wealthy side, but this is actually better than what it is. So people's idea of what it actually is, this shows what it actually is. The middle class is what people think is poor, how they think it is. And the rich are magnitudes more rich than people think they are. So like people's perception of a billion is way, way, way off. And then he says that the actual 1%, their money is so far off the charts, you'd have to stack it this many times just to represent the top 1% of America. That's how rich they are. They are more rich than this graph can even show. That's insane, dude.
And the reason for that is because the value of the dollar is collapsing like drastically fast, right?
Well,
and it, like I was saying with the assets, like the top 1%, they understand this and they put their money into assets, and those assets, accumulate value. And that's look, people who have billions or tens of billions or hundreds of billions of dollars, they don't have that in cash. Like they're not, there's not like a vault with all their cash in it. That's
No.
not how that works.
No.
They own properties and stocks and businesses and things that are valued at those billions and billions of dollars, right? And that's the key, right? Like Elon Musk doesn't have whatever $200-300 billion in cash lying around. No, his companies and all of his assets combined are worth that. This is why when he went to buy Twitter, he didn't pull out $42 billion in cash and go buy Twitter. No, he leveraged his Tesla stocks, which were valued at more than that, and said, "Hey, look, I'll let me buy this. We're gonna use my Tesla stocks as collateral for this." You see what I'm saying? And that's how they do it.
Well, this is like the next phase, whatever we go into. There's two sides of me when I'm looking at it. And I go, wow, I really want the great equalizer, or maybe not the great equalizer, but like the battle against them trying to equalize everybody to be the Bitcoin. But one of two things is going to happen. Those 1% guys, they're not going into the next phase of the next era at zero. It's not happening. So they're going full on into Bitcoin as well, because they're going to secure their position, and they're going to have, I mean, obviously if you got billions of dollars, you can get some Bitcoin as a backup or as a foreground, but they're going to also have a backup just in case some other group is like, we're not allowing Bitcoin transactions at all. And even if it skyrockets or whatever, it's valuable only if you can trade it, or only if you can sell it or whatever. So no matter what, it's like copy Nancy Pelosi's stock trades. That's what I mean. Like whatever they're doing, you got to do your version of it, because they're not getting put back to zero, period.
Yeah.
We're getting put back to zero.
You said you said what they're doing, and that is buying Bitcoin. And you can look this up. Like a lot of the richest people in the world are dumping into Bitcoin right now, because it's just a hard asset. Just think about it this way. Like you don't have to get into the weeds about like the protocol and like what it is and all this shit. All you need to understand is that the really, really wealthy people, they put their money again into hard assets that they're confident will go up. Okay. Well, with the way that the dollar is going and all this other shit, they're starting to realize only recently, okay, only in the last like 18 months or so, are the ultra wealthy starting to realize that the best performing asset in human history, the hardest asset ever invented or whatever, discovered, however you want to look at it, is Bitcoin. So all those hundreds of billions of dollars that you saw stacked on the side of the chart in order to reach all of that money, if you will, right? Instead of it going into like property in the fucking Hamptons and, you know, beachfront property in Miami or New York, like that's what they used to do. That was the play for a long time. But they're starting to realize that, wait a minute, when the housing bubble pops, right, and we have another 2008, like the comment section says here, or whatever the case might be, like that's not going to be a solid bet anymore. So they are buying Bitcoin by the billions right now. So even though Bitcoin, people look at Bitcoin, oh, it's already over 100,000. It's too expensive. Like, I don't want to invest in that. I want to invest in penny stocks or cheaper cryptos that have an opportunity to go up and I can get that 10,000x gain or whatever, right? That's how people usually look at it. That's how I looked at it for a long time, until I started to really understand that when these wealthy people start to figure this out, and they will switch from putting that money into real estate and stocks, and they're going to start putting it in, they're going to shift it over to Bitcoin. And when that happens, the price is going through the roof. It's going to $1 million, it's going to 10 million, it's going to 100 million, right? Fidelity predicts that by 2038, the price of one Bitcoin will be $1 billion. Okay. This is Fidelity. That's their prediction. Okay.
Bro,
so
you're going to be rich.
If that happens, I'm rich as I'm done. I'm good. You'll never see me again on the internet. I'll stop complaining about conspiracies. I'm gonna be living in freaking Fiji or someplace, chilling. Okay, but the point is that all these other assets degrade, right? Like if you buy a penthouse somewhere or a beachfront property, like it atrophies, like everything else. Time destroys it, right? You have to repair it. You know, you got to pay property taxes, right? The fucking roof falls off. You got to put money on the roof. You know, the AC you got to put money on that. You know, the foundation, you got to switch the foundation, the plumbing. So it just atrophies over time. It's costing money, even though you're making money on this asset, right? That doesn't
only
happen.
Makes money if you sell it or borrow against it.
Right. And that's the key. Not selling it, borrowing against it. This is how the wealthy people operate. They don't sell their hard assets. They leverage, is what I was talking about with Elon Musk. He didn't sell his Tesla stocks. He borrowed against it. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that's how this works on the long term.
Yeah, I mean, even going beyond, you know, like, oh well, we're just going to go get land or we're going to whatever, blah, blah, blah. We're just start our own farm. Brother, they are cloud seeding all over the United States in public now. It's not a conspiracy theory anymore. It is, the people are going on talk shows, on podcasts, the CEO of this cloud seeding thing. They're cloud seeding. Your farm is just going to get the most acidic rain that's ever been seen poured on it. You know, Bill Gates is going to own all of the farmland. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is going to own the farmland. And whatever your little dinky farm is with your stupid little chickens, they're going to die.
Yeah.
Your garden, your little vegetable garden, your community garden, it's getting acid poured on it.
Yeah, it takes one flood, one hurricane, one fire, one tornado, one earthquake, and your assets are gone, right? Destroyed.
One locust plague that just comes through, like they just bring over some animal grown in a like the Jurassic Park movies, or they just GMO'd some grasshopper locust thing and it just ate all the crops except for the ones that were treated with appeal or whatever.
Think about this, man. The only reason gold has been so valuable through history is because it doesn't rust, right? It doesn't change chemically over time, like it doesn't oxidize and things like that, right? So it maintains its molecular structure of gold, right? It's a hard asset. So this is why people have always invested in gold and bought gold to hedge against inflation and these types of things, because it just doesn't. This is why you can go dig up a freaking tomb that's 10,000 years old and you can find gold in there and it's still gold, right? You can't find the iron, you can't find the copper, but you can find the gold, right? Bitcoin is the digital version of gold. Every digital analog of something performs better than the analog version, right? Everything. Think about it. You had mail. Mail was how we communicated across the world for hundreds and hundreds of years, okay? And then somebody invented a digital version, right? Email. And who the fuck uses mail anymore, right? Communications, same thing. Like anything that you can think of, there was an analog version and it worked really well for a long time. And then when they created a digital version of it, the digital version completely wiped it out. And it is now the main thing. Well, Bitcoin is digital gold. It doesn't atrophy, doesn't change. The molecular structure of it doesn't change. The protocol doesn't change. It's a hard asset. There's an actual finite supply. Again, like I was saying earlier, you could dig up more gold. You could pull an asteroid out of the sky and mine all the gold off of it, right? Can't do that with Bitcoin. So, even though right now it seems like I'm talking crazy and I'm just like crypto bro in your ass, like I'm telling you right now, if you're looking for like generational wealth, if you're trying to give your great grandkids something, it's going to have to be something Bitcoin or something like Bitcoin, right? I'm not saying like there aren't other cryptos that will become as powerful and valuable over time, but there's really only one that is completely decentralized. Every other crypto has a CEO or a board or is tied to some company or something like this. Bitcoin is the only completely, fully decentralized, organic, by the way, too, because it was just nerds buying this shit for the whole first 10 years of this thing was just people, right? It's organic. So, and it's only 16 years old. Like we just got started.
Yeah, bro. Who knows where this thing goes, man? But it's going to the moon, apparently going to 1 billion.
And do you know who the biggest holder of Bitcoin is?
The people.
BlackRock.
Oh, the private purse. Yeah, of course it is, dude.
BlackRock. Why? Because they know what's coming.
They have to leverage it in the next cycle.
They've been stacking it hard, bro. Right? MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, like there's these people out there, these really smart, really wealthy people that understand this, and they're already shifting. They're already putting their money into it. Saudi Arabia, Dubai is talking about dumping all of their sovereign wealth fund into Bitcoin, right? The United States just passed, the Bitcoin Reserve Act and all that shit. I'm telling you guys, man, like this is not investing advice, but if you want to not be the bottom of that chart that Creamer showed by 2030 or whatever, think about this, man. Take the time and do the research.
What happens to as Bitcoin, as the amount available goes up, but like it's going to get exponential.
I think 98% or something like that of all the Bitcoin that will ever be mined has already been mined.
Yeah, but I'm saying as you get down to that like 0, you get down to like the last Bitcoin, that the value on that has got to be
astronomical.
It's got to be like a number we don't even know.
This is why financial institutions like Fidelity predict $1 billion Bitcoin by 2038, because I don't remember the exact year that this happens, but the very last little piece of Bitcoin that gets mined is in like 2140 or something like that. Okay. So I want you to think about how long that is from now. That's over 100 years from now until the last little piece gets mined. Okay.
At this rate.
Well, the rate gets cut in half every 4 years. So every 4 years there's a halving. And basically when you're running a Bitcoin miner, every 10 minutes a new block is made. If your miner, your computer or whatever is the one that solves the mathematical puzzle and creates the block, you get rewarded. Okay. And when Bitcoin was first introduced, the reward I think was 50 Bitcoin, right? Every 10 minutes, 50 Bitcoin was mined, right? If your computing power was the one that created the block. Okay. And then 4 years later, it got cut in half to 25. And then 4 years after that, it got cut in half to 12 and a half. And then it got cut in half again to 6.25. Right now, we're at the fourth or the fifth halving, whatever. The reward is like 3 Bitcoin, basically. So every 10 minutes, 3 more Bitcoin comes into existence. And there's only 21 million ever. Once we hit the 21 million cap, which would be in 2140 or 2147 or whatever year that is, okay, there's no more being mined. And the whole ecosystem will just have to operate
Exist
on
21 million.
Exactly. So, and what I say earlier, like 96, 98% of all the Bitcoin that will ever be mined is already mined. So the last
So
2 or
there's
3%.
20 million, there's 20 something million already mined.
Yes. Yes. The last million-ish Bitcoin or whatever is going to take another 140 years to be produced. So we're just at the beginning of what this thing is.
Can they speed up the producing now?
No,
Or is it fixed at that rate?
it's
like
fixed. It's written in the code.
what I'm saying, like a computer, they just can't mine faster than 10 minutes.
No. The block
Cannot be
the
created any
the
faster.
block rate is every 10 minutes, and it's basically your computer is solving a complex mathematical equation, right? And
Like a
once
quantum
it's
computer can't do it faster.
a quantum computer theoretically could do it faster, and people do worry that quantum computing will break cryptography and crash Bitcoin. But if that happens, it'll crash banking and everything else first, right?
Yeah, of
Because
course.
like I've talked about before, your PIN number to your bank is 4 numbers. The PIN number to my Bitcoin is 24 words.
Yeah.
So
Which they are already going to know that it's basically just like it's Tesseract lyrics.
yeah, pretty much, right?
They're
No,
gonna
that's
be
the
like,
thing, right? Like you don't
"Here's
even make
try
up.
a sequence of every single Tesseract lyric."
Yeah,
They'll be like,
you
"All right,
don't even make up the words. Like it's random. It's like a random generator that gives you the passwords.
oh, so you don't
Right.
even, yeah, so they'll figure that out.
Yeah.
Come
So,
on, computer, figure that out in 2 seconds.
but yeah, there's no way to change the protocol unless a majority of the network or the nodes and miners and holders decide to change the protocol. Then it could be changed, but that'll never. happen.
Oh, so
It'll
there's
never
there's two ways. So like if this like the UAE and BlackRock, they become the majority holders of the nodes, which I guess there'd only still be one node though, right?
Yep. Yeah, they
So they
can't.
couldn't be. They can't be.
They can't.
So then that's not on that front, but they could have a quantum computer just go and break the whole thing.
Yeah, but they'd break everything else first.
Well, I mean, ideally that's what they want. They want everything broken so that they can set the board the way that they want it.
Sure. I mean, look, nothing in this life is like 100%.
Yeah,
Right?
100%. Wow, dude, it's just scary though, man, because it's like any kind of avenue that you go, okay, this might be this could be it. There's already something, not even like theoretically, there's already something out there that it's like probably not though.
You're right.
You know?
Like I said, there's no, it's not 100% guarantee, right?
It's like
But
what I'm
if-
saying,
But if you look at like, neither is the dollar. The
No,
dollar's
I'm saying
going down.
everything is like that. It's like, oh, I'm going to start my own farm. You know, making some money. Let's go. You know, everybody's learning how to like finance things now. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, we're going to start a little micro farm and we're going to start these little communities. And then they're like, oh, we're going to cloud seed, and there's drone bees and there's genetically modified locusts. It's like, okay, all right, well, let's get into like hard property assets. And it's like we just lit Hawaii on fire randomly. You know, it's like, oh, okay, all right, and insurance companies are just not going to cover your house. Oops. You know, it's like every single thing you're trying to like, okay, fine, I'll move somewhere. Well, we're going to digitally ID you, so we're going to know where you're at. It's like every single move, some thing is already like, yeah, oh, I'm going to get Bitcoin. It's like, well, Willow.
Yep.
Good
You
luck
kinda
with
have
your
to-
password.
You got to hedge your bets somehow. You got to like
Yeah.
kind of weigh the risks, the pros and the cons and all that. And that's
Yeah,
just kind
and
of
it's
like,
like-
that's where I fell on it.
The only option that nobody's gonna, and I'm not even gonna say what it is like, because we all know what the real safeguard against any of this is. Nobody's gonna do that.
Right.
Nobody's gonna do that.
We're too
They know
complacent.
that no one's gonna do that,
Mhm.
and they already probably have systems in place to like just keep things going, even if the only real solution was ever,
Yeah.
you know. So it's like it's just, man, dude, it almost feels like this is where the black pill portion comes in, where it's just like, dude, what's the point? But then you go, well, maybe there's a way, dude. If there's a will, there's a way. So is it worth fighting for? And then you go, yeah, now I'm white pilled.
You know, that's kind of the thing that Bitcoin's done for me personally, right? Because
Yeah.
I am very black pilled on all this stuff. But, you know, like I don't have like kids, right? So I don't, like you have kids, right? So you can look at your kids and be like, oh, like on a bad day, you could have like some kind of hope for the future because your lineage and all that stuff, right? Like I don't have kids. So I don't have that little piece to like, brighten my mood up or whatever, right? I got a beautiful girlfriend and then I got Bitcoin. So it's like,
You need kids, bro.
well,
You
maybe
need
if
kids.
maybe if I get to a point where I'm comfortable. My problem is, man, is it's a lot of people
Someone has to
don't.
fight this battle after you, man.
A lot of people don't want kids because like they think it's expensive or whatever. I personally don't really like kids, right? But
I don't either.
you know, I would like my own kids. I just don't like other people's kids. You know what I'm saying? They
I
annoy me,
hardly like my own kids.
right?
I like them up to a certain age, and then after that, I'm like, eh. But the
Well,
thing is that I didn't realize until I heard, just oddly enough, Chris D'Elia, he was making a joke, and he's like, "I made another me. I will live forever," because his kid's just like him. And I was like, "Oh, I did make another me. I made 3 me's. Like
Yeah.
I multiplied."
yeah, I
And
mean that would be
no, I didn't.
cool.
I'm gonna die. My dad's gonna die eventually, and I'm gonna continue doing the things that he taught me to do. And so all of his ideas are gonna move forward through me and my little variation that I put on it. And then my kids are going to go into the time that I can't go into, and they are going to carry what I've taught them and their little variation on it. But it's like when I started thinking about kids and stuff like that, I was like, oh wow, dude, I've got like a real responsibility and also like a privilege. And it's like, cool, I'm not gonna physically be here to comprehend and be conscious of what they're doing, but like then the thought connected and like that's what these bloodlines are, dude. That's what these bloodlines are. Somebody had an idea way back when that was, and they put that thing into place, and there's somehow their generations just kept that thing alive, and that's how you got a Rothschild. That's how you got a Bilderberg.
Yeah,
And
for
like
sure.
they're doing it. So
For me, it's just
they're doing Bitcoin, kids.
yeah, I mean, one day perhaps. It's just like I'm too black pilled on how the world is working that like I'd be too paranoid every single day. If I had kids, like I got cats,
telling
bro.
you-
I'm that guy, right? And I get paranoid
I'm
about
not
the
telling you
fucking
how to do this
cats.
right now. I'm
you
just
know,
saying.
but we'll see what
We need
happens.
Bitcoin for kids, bro. That's what we need.
I gotta build. I gotta build the escape hatch. Once I have the escape hatch built, then kids might be on in the in my mind. But I don't have the escape hatch. So if I have an infant running around and like the Great Reset happens, like fuck, because I could fend for myself, right? Like I could go. I got ammo and shit. Like I could make it work for me. But if I got a 1-year-old and I'm carrying it around, like I'm fucked, and so is the 1-year-old. Like that's kind of where my mind has been for the last like 10 years on kids. It's like, man, like do I want to bring kids into a
You gotta
world that
think about this,
I'm
brother.
not even comfortable with?
If your kid does survive, that's the thing.
It's gonna be John Connor, bro.
It's gonna be John Connor, brother. You gotta have everybody's got to have their little John Connor. So listen, this is if there's any message that we can put out there to try to turn this thing around, right? If we're gonna turn this ship around, bro, get Bitcoin, leave it in.
Like I said,
John
it's not
Connor,
investing advice. I know I've been talking your ear off about it
We
for
need
like
more
a
of
year. But definitely consider it and take the time to understand it, and then you'll end up making the choice yourself, right? Like I don't have to tell you to do it. I don't really give a shit if you do it or not. It's just like one of those things. If you're really concerned about the collapse and the financial situation and all that, like there is an escape hatch out there. You just have to take the time and the patience to understand what it is and how it works. And once you do, you'll have enough confidence, like I do, to just put my money into it, dude. Because what else am I going to do? Put it into a savings account that's just getting deflated away? Like, no,
No,
right?
come on.
And I don't have enough money to like.
That's what they want you to do.
Yeah, of course, that's what they want you to do. And I don't have enough money to go buy like a friggin' building that's going to atrophy over time and cost me as much as like I don't have money like that. So, I can put in $100 here, $200 there, and just slowly stack that asset up to a point to where, like right now, bro, ask Crystal. Yesterday, I was looking at it. Today, I'm up like a few $100. Just in the last week, I've made more on Bitcoin than I make working. Woo! So, and that's just from slowly chipping away at it, just throwing it in. And just this year, bro. I just started buying Bitcoin this year, bro. I'm late to the game. Well, I'm not even late, I'm early, but I'm late to the game in some people's eyes. And I'm already making more than I do at my day job. My asset is growing faster than my income.
That's, dude, when this thing goes to 1 billion, brother, podcast is over. Sorry, guys. You're on your own.
Yeah, I'll start a
Me and
podcast
Jeff,
network.
we'll never see each other again, brother. We'll friggin' salute, and I'll see you on the other side there, brother. We're gone, dude. We're going to space.
No, I won't do that. I think that Shinobi in the chat.
Dude, I'm 100% getting on that.
Nah, even if I make it and I have tens of millions of dollars worth of buying power in Bitcoin, like I'll probably still be podcasting because I enjoy doing this. So I'll just have a nicer studio and I'll have a better internet connection, and
it'll be from the space base, dude.
Yeah,
it'll be from the new Earth, whatever it is.
Be from my.
You ever seen the movie
bunker.
Titan AE?
Yes, a long time ago.
The animated movie. They like blow up the friggin' nuke in space or whatever it was. They blow up the Titan and it turns into a new planet.
Yeah.
They named it Bob.
I feel like I've seen that.
That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah.
Hey, well,
that's what I do.
I'm here
for I'll see you on Bob one day, dude. We'll be podcasting from Bob.
Yeah. Anyways, we've been at this an hour and a half. I got milsimming to do. I told the boys in the milsim group I would plug it on the show, just because we are recruiting for that. So if you're interested, if you play video games, if you're a nerd like me and you want to get into some milsim gaming, shoot me a message. I can get you in there. It's fun, so think about it.
They're not secretly recruiting for a militia.
No. Right. No. It's fun though. So if you're into that, people have messaged me that listen to the show. Believe it or not, people have messaged me like, "Oh, what milsim you playing?" So I'm just putting it out there. Like, if it's something you're interested in, shoot me a message and we'll talk about it. So
he's playing Halo Wars.
Yeah, right. I'm playing Age of Empires 1.
The 2013 classic Halo Wars.
Good stuff. All right, brother. You got anything else?
Metroid on the That is it, man. That is it.
Cool. Well, appreciate everybody being here.
On the next one.
Yep. And that's it, boys and girls.
Bye.